Hey guys, it's Katie and welcome to day 2 of my 100 subscribers celebration week. Today's video is all about Booktuber shoutouts. Now, this is not an extensive list by any means, but these are either booktubers that I communicate with regularly or that I really enjoy or that I've had some support from over the years. There's really no order for the names that I'm picking. It's just kind of going to be a hodgepodge, and let's get into it. So the first booktuber I want to mention is Allie from Allie M Books. Allie is such a sweet person. She's so active on Twitter, and she's very passionate about certain things that I'm passionate about. Like, I love Shakespeare, and she actually started a really cool Shakespeare book club a while back, and sadly I haven't been able to participate because I have no life, but I like to follow along when I can, and I try to go to the live shows when she has them, and I just really love her. She's always really enthusiastic and always has really lovely vlogs that go up on her channel. And she's a huge Disney lover, which is something that I also love. And she's just so eloquent and just such a lovely person. And if you haven't heard of her or if you haven't checked her out, I'd highly recommend that you do so. Then next, I want to talk about Gabby from Gabby Arno. Gabby is one of the coolest and most unique booktubers I have stumbled across. She loves to combine music and books. Like, she did the coolest video, and I'll link it down below, where she did book reviews, I think it was, she wrote music and did those as like a book review for some of her favorite books, and it blew my mind. Just the work and dedication and passion that went into that video, and just how excited she was about it really shone through in the video, and I fell in love, and it was just stunning, absolutely stunning. She also reads a lot of really cool stuff, and she's just so fun and captivating to watch and listen to. So I don't know why I keep saying this, but every single person that I'm going to talk about today is someone I'd highly recommend going to check out. Next is Sophie from Sophisticated Books. Sophie is a younger booktuber, but she is so eloquent and so passionate and so well versed. Like, she does reviews and videos, and she just does a phenomenal job. She obviously knows her stuff. She's so in depth on things. She has some really great discussions and things that she likes to talk about, and I love her fiery passion. It's so contagious, and she just put out some really great content. And also, a while back on Twitter, she was doing all of these aesthetic posts, and it was just such a really unique and fun way to shout out a bunch of booktubers, and because we were all captivated by these aesthetic posts, and she, it was just, we were all finding new people to watch or check out, and it was just a really cool thing that she did. And she's just always coming up with unique content, and just kind of a trendsetter in a lot of ways, and I just really enjoy watching and interacting with her from time to time. The next is Rocky from Blonde with a Book. Rocky is such a passionate, excitable, captivating booktuber. The series that she's most known for talking about all the time is Sherlock Holmes series by Brittany Cavallaro. And me being a huge Sherlock Holmes fan, it's kind of what led me to her channel in the first place, I think. And then she just does a lot of really great videos. I mean, are they long? Yes, but I don't care about length. She just puts out such fun and captivating content, and I just love how excited and passionate she is about her channel and the books that she reads, whether she liked them or not. She's always got something interesting to say. And one thing that I absolutely loved that I'd all recommend that you go watch is this video that she did a couple of months ago called Why I Read YA, I think. Something along those lines. And it's just a beautiful, stunning discussion video, and it brings up some really great points. And I just highly recommend you guys go watch it. As I said, I'll link it down below so you guys can go watch it. But she's got some really great content if you haven't watched any of her stuff before. The next is Kelsey from Hardback Haven. Kelsey hasn't put out much content over the last year or so, and I miss her a lot. But she was one of my earliest booktube friends. She's someone that always used to interact a lot on my videos, and we now kind of moved our conversations over to Twitter from time to time. But she's just one of the most welcoming people I have ever met on this platform. She's so open, she's so kind, she makes really great content, she reads a lot of really interesting books across the board. She doesn't just mostly focus on one genre, though her primary genre is fantasy. But she always has really great things to say, and really just put out really great content. But sometimes she'll be lurking around on Twitter, but I think her primary platform now is mostly Instagram. So you guys should go follow her over there until she ultimately, hopefully, makes her way back to the Booktube place. Next is May from May Reads, but I think she might have changed her channel to just May. I'm not sure. I have to double check on that. But May is a wonderful booktuber from Germany, and she is such an excitable, wonderful human being, and I love how inclusive she is. I love how passionate she is. She did a lot of reading vlogs over the months a while ago, and she did some travel vlogs, and she just always has such interesting things to say about the books that she reads. And her boyfriend often makes an appearance on her channel, and they're adorable, and I just love watching her content. That obviously puts in a lot of time and effort into the videos that she makes, despite being an incredibly busy law student and having time being limited. She's like me that way. And I don't know, we just connected over a lot of really fun things, and she really, really considers the people in that, are a part of her channel and her life to be kind of like family, and it's just really, really wonderful. And she also has a Twitter now, and she posts things there from time to time, as well as an Instagram where she posts more of her travel-y things. And she's just such a fun person, and I can't recommend her enough. Next is Kate from Girl Reading. Kate is one of the first booktubers I started watching when right around the time I joined a couple of years ago. She's just such a lovely person, and she's just so kind and caring, and just the most adorable human being you will ever meet. She reads a lot of lovely things, and she puts out a lot of cute content, and I just has created quite a few original tags that people still do from time to time, and she's just such a gem and such a sweetheart. And I haven't seen her around lately. She's more on Twitter and her blog, I think, rather than on Booktube. But she definitely has a lot of content for you guys to go enjoy in the meantime until she comes back. But I absolutely love her, and she's just such a sweetheart. Next is Lisa from Lisa's West Coast Reads. Lisa also hasn't been around for a while, but I really, really enjoy her content. She does a lot of vlogs and reviews and things, and she's just a really fun booktuber. She talks a lot about where the place that she lives, and the work that she does, and her family, and just all kinds of stuff. I particularly love her vlogs. They're so fun to watch, and I love seeing where she lives because it's absolutely gorgeous. And I don't know, I just really, really enjoy her, and would highly recommend her. Next is Charlie from Charlie Trough, aka Reader Turned Writer. And she's a lovely booktuber as well. She is another one of those booktubers who reads such a vast variety of books. She doesn't necessarily read one genre, even though I'm pretty sure the majority of what she reads is fantasy, but she also reads a lot of classics and some sci-fi and historical fiction. I mean, she just reads such a vast variety of stuff, and she's really eloquent and has a lot of really interesting things to say. And I'd highly, highly recommend to go watch her. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she's taking a bit of a hiatus this year because of a lot of things that are going on in her life. But she said she's going to plan on trying to keep in touch with people if she can. I know she has a Goodreads, and I think she has an Instagram. So I definitely go follow her on both of those platforms to kind of keep an eye on what she's up to, what she's reading, until she starts posting content again. But she's really fun, and I really enjoy her content as well. The next is Jess from Jess's Lit Life. Jess is such a great booktuber, and I feel like, I don't know, we have a lot in common in a lot of ways, but she also reads a wide variety of different books. She reads a lot of stuff like nonfiction and some classics and things like that, but she's trying to get into, I think, sci-fi fantasy, but she's trying to get into the sci-fi fantasy realm, I think, maybe. I don't know that for a fact. But she's still in school, and she actually does a lot of really cool videos where she talks about the books that she's reading in school. And then over the summer, she does like reading vlogs and things. And she did a really great thing. I think it was this past summer. She would put out a video and have booktubers choose her next read. And I really, really enjoyed that kind of an interactive video watching experience. And she's just so eloquent and has a lot of really cool things to say. And she's just really fun to watch. I don't know. Obviously, I'm repeating myself over and over again. You get the point. I love these people. Okay, great. Is Gabrielle from Between the Pages. She's a really small booktuber from Canada, but she's got, she's such a gem. She's such a sweetheart. She reads a lot of interesting books, some that I have never heard of before that she's introduced me to that look really, really interesting. And I know she's really, really busy with school and work and things, so her posting is a little bit more on the sporadic side, but she's just such a fun booktuber, and I'd highly recommend checking her out if you haven't already. The next is Linda from Linda's World of Books. Linda is another Canadian booktuber, and she's lovely as well. She reads also a wide variety of books. She also does, she did a few reading vlogs, I think, over the summer. She does a lot of really fun tags and really interesting wrap-ups and TBRs and things. And she's a really, really avid fan of Harry Potter, like one of the most avid fans I've run across in a long time. And the next is Emma from Emma Rosen Books. And Emma is not only a booktuber, but she's also an author-tuber and a published author at this point. She talks a lot about the writing process as well as her book, which was published, which is all about breastfeeding. And I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about it from a lot of people who've read it, and listening to Emma talk about the topic, she's so passionate about it, and she's really informative on the topic, and it's just really, really captivating to listen to. But anyway, Emma also reads a lot of different books. She reads a lot of fantasy, and she really loves sea things, which is kind of how I found her in the first place, because I also love sea things. See name of channel. But she's also a very supportive booktuber, and she's really active on Twitter, as well as fairly active on here, and she does a lot of really interesting discussion videos. She's done some travel vlogs, and she's done some really cool reviews and things, and I just really, really enjoy her vibe and her overall channel. Next is Hannah from Snow White Reader, and Hannah is such a fun and unique booktuber. I am not even remotely joking about that. She brings so many new things to booktube that I feel like I haven't seen before. She is really well known for doing a lot of skits and a lot of kind of interactive and theatrical videos, and they're some of the best things I've ever seen. Like, she did a video that was Donald Trump, if Donald Trump was a booktuber, and it was one of the funniest things I have ever seen. It was just so captivating and wonderful. Her booktube newbie tag is just stunning. Like, I wish I had those kinds of camera skills and like the ability to do things like that, because I just don't. I'm too clumsy for that, man. She's just such a gem, and I cannot recommend her enough. Next is Huck from Badger Reads. Now, Huck is not someone that was really on my radar until recently, but she is such a wonderful booktuber. She has a lot of really great things to say about books. She is really eloquent, and she's really good at explaining why she loved or why she didn't love a book, and she just does a lot of really cool things. Her room is gorgeous, and she wears lots of really cool hats, and I am in love with them. And she's just so captivating and energetic in a really quiet way, which I love. Next is Kat from Paperback Dreams. And Kat, if you don't know, is really, really well known for her salty, unpopular opinions and her rant reviews and things like that. She's really fun and really funny in a lot of ways because of the way that she communicates things in her videos. She is also, she's just a little firecracker, and I love watching her because she's just so funny. And some of the videos that she's done, she's interacted with her family, and I absolutely love seeing the relationship between her and her family because it's so fun and it's so lovely to watch. And then also just whenever she does like vlogs and things, they're really fun, and I really like her reviews despite not having maybe necessarily read the books that she's read. But yeah, she's just really interesting and really fun. But it's also cool because she's also open to learning a lot because, okay, brief story time. She was one of the hosts of the Grisha Longathon, and I read the Grisha trilogy at the end of the year. Didn't like it. I have a whole video about it if you want to go find it. I might link it up above if I'm feeling so inclined. And she watched it, and she learned some stuff, and she was really glad because it's not something that people typically bring up. But the fact that she's, willing to interact with people that she doesn't necessarily interact with on a regular basis, I just love that she goes out of her way to try and be more inclusive and bring all kinds of different people together. The next is Samantha from Sam's Nonsense. My love for Samantha knows no bounds. She's one of the first booktubers I stumbled across, mostly because of her Realm of the Elderlings reviews, because I am also Realm of the Elderlings garbage times 10. And she is also a Robin Hobb and Tolkien fan. We just have a ton of stuff in common. I also love her for her vast, deep love for Christmas things. She does a lot of really great hauls in which I find tons of books that I am potentially interested in or that she makes sound really interesting. She does really good jobs with reviews. In some ways, I borrowed her review style because she also breaks it down in a similar way to me. It just clicked really well for a way to do fantasy reviews instead of my old jumbly hot mess. I don't even know if I can do it that way anymore. But she's just such a fun booktuber, and I'm not even joking, I cannot recommend her enough because she totally deserves more love than she gets. Next is Cass from What Cass Read. I've been following Cass for quite a while, and we've kind of formed this really cool relationship over time too because we both read similar books and like similar authors. She's another person who enjoys Robin Hobb, but she's kind of she's still in her Robin Hobb journey, and I love following along with that, along with seeing all the other books she's reading because a lot of them really interest me And she's also really eloquent and talks a lot about really interesting and deep topics that several books touch on. She has a really cool review style in that she not only does, for most books that she reads, she'll do a spoiler-free review, and then she'll also post a spoiler review kind of at the same time. So it's like catering to multiple different audiences, and I really, really like that because it's not necessarily going to all be in the same video, but it'll be like, oh, if you are interested in this book but haven't read it, then check this out. But if you want all the spoilery goodness and you have read it, then come over to this one once you're finished. So, I mean, it's kind of like a best of both worlds kind of a thing, but the spoiler review is more of like a really in-depth discussion, which I really, really like as well. She does a lot of really cool, like her wrap-ups are always really lovely, and she does some fun tags and some top 5 Wednesday videos and things. But she also is one of the judges of the Booktube SFF Awards this year, which is really, really cool. She's really, really good at all of those things, and she's also really, really active on Goodreads and Twitter, and you get a little bit more of her reactions if you follow her on all of the platforms. But she's just a really cool person, and if you are into fantasy in particular at all, I'd highly recommend going to check Cass out. Next, Spencer from Common Spence. Spencer is one of the funniest and most engaging people I have come across on this platform. He's spectacular. He's really, really community focused. Like, he just started a reading club called Books with Friends, and he does a lot of readathons and a lot of live shows, and he has come out with a lot of really great original content over the year that he's been on Booktube? Almost a year. Yeah, he's almost been on for a year, I think, because I think he joined on his birthday, which is February 22nd, I believe. And he is just so enthusiastic. He's the graphics master, and he just reads a lot of interesting things. He has a lot of really interesting opinions about things. Some are unpopular. He's not afraid to talk about unpopular opinions. Plus, he's also really active on Twitter. He's such a Booktube gem, and I love that he is he's really striving to make this community a better place. Like, he did a survey a while back, and nothing has happened with it yet, but he is planning on doing something with all of the data that he's collected, and I'll be really interested to see what he comes out with, because I do agree that there are some things in this community that could be better, and it's really awesome that there are people out there that are really actively striving to make that a reality. The next, I'm going to talk about Tom from TJ Reads the Stars. Tom is the biggest sweetheart, one of the most incredible people. He's so welcoming, he's so unique, he's so fun, and he puts out such raw, beautiful, and interesting content. He does a lot of really great vlogs and reviews and discussion videos. And he's just so passionate about the community, and he is such a positive light that a lot of us gravitate towards, whether we're going through a hard time or even when he's going through a hard time. I mean, he's just such a ray of sunshine, and I can't recommend him enough. Next is Justin from Triumphal Reads. Justin is a really cool booktuber. He reads a lot of nonfiction, but primarily like history and I think some science. And he also is trying to get into fantasy, and he's slowly finding his way through the fantasy world. But he's really fun because he does a lot of crafts and things. Like, he was selling, I think, handmade bookmarks. He has a Etsy page, and I think if I can find it, I'll link it down below. But he always has really interesting reviews, and he's really good at explaining why he liked something or why he didn't. He's not afraid to express his unpopular opinions, and he has like the coolest outro ever, like read victoriously. It's so cool. And I'll never forget when I first heard that. It made me laugh so hard because as a classicist and a historian, I'm just like, that is literally the best thing I have ever heard in my life. And it was great. As I said, he's really fun, and I found a lot of really cool nonfiction books through him, especially if you're really interested in history. He has a lot, like specific areas of history in particular. Like he reads a lot of ancient medieval history books, and I mean, while I've read several of them, there's some out there that are really interesting. Like he went on a World War One kick sometime last year, and World War One is an area I've always been more interested in. I've wanted to get into more because, you know, I feel like we all talk about World War Two all the time, constantly, but World War One, which is just as interesting and just as important, and has just a lot of stuff that we just seem to not touch on in school, it seems like. And so he put out a lot of really great videos regarding like World War One books that he's read, and kind of gives recommendations to where you should start if you were to read certain areas. And so it's just, he's really, really well informed and really interesting to listen to, and I'd definitely recommend him. Shelby from Read and Find Out. She is someone I talk to very, very frequently. We have a lot of conversations going on. We both have a love of Robin Hobb and fantasy books. I've also started getting into Brandon Sanderson. She's also a huge fan of Brandon Sanderson, especially his Cosmere works, which is, you know, the majority of the works that he's written. I don't know, we just have a lot in common, and she is such a really cool booktuber because, okay, so not only she is training to be a school psychologist, and so she's also really, really into like personality stuff in many different respects. Like she's really into the MBTI, the Myers-Briggs test thing. I always screw up the acronym, so I'm just not going to try. And she's also really into Enneagrams. And she's actually created a series here on her channel that are book recommendations for the Myers-Briggs types. And she's going through each letter. So like she did introverts and extroverts and feeling, sensing, like those kinds of things. And she's putting out book recommendations for them. And I think that's so cool because I just can't imagine the amount of work that went into creating something like that. Because I think it would take a lot of time and effort to go through something like that. And I really enjoy watching her videos. She's a very, very calming personality, and she's just such a gem, and she totally deserves more love than she gets. Then next is Kara from Wild Book Garden. Kara and I also have a lot of similar tastes in certain ways. We read a wide variety of books. We tend to not look at categorizations when we are picking our books. We just like, oh, that sounds interesting, I'm gonna read it. And I just love having that kind of a person in a booktuber. We have a lot of similar opinions on things. I have come to really, really trust her book recommendations because she comes out with a lot of really great recommendation videos. She also does a lot of really, really unique and cool content that you don't necessarily see a ton of on other people's channels. Like she talks about, like she does really in-depth wrap-ups, for instance, which I really like. And she puts out like videos like auto by authors that I didn't necessarily love, well, no, what was it called? I'm gonna link one or two of her really interesting videos down below so you guys can check them out because they're just really cool, and I feel like more people should do content like that. She also does a lot of readathons and comes up with these like really crazy TBRs, and sometimes she manages to get through them, I think. And sometimes she doesn't, but she's always got really just a wide variety of interesting and unique books on there. She's just such a gem, and I love her. Definitely go check her out. And last, sorry this is so long, but last but certainly not least is Vendi from Caught Between Pages. Vendi is one of the most incredible booktubers ever. I love her so much. She does a lot of similar things to, most booktubers. She does, wrap-ups and reviews and tags and things. But she also does really, really well done discussion videos. She did one last year in conjunction with a review that was kind of along the lines of a video that went out, I think it was last week. And it was called, it was all about whether or not you can separate the author from their work. And it was all in conjunction with a discussion that she did on Marion Zimmer Bradley's Mists of Avalon, and finding out things about the author after she'd read the book, and just kind of how that colored her view and things. I mean, like, she already wasn't a huge fan of the book, but things like that. And I'm going to link it down below because it is such a phenomenal discussion, and she did such a good job of it. But not only that, she's also another author tuber. She's working on a book, and she talks about it in some of her writing videos, which I definitely recommend going to watch if you haven't, because just her idea sounds really interesting, and I cannot wait to have that book in my hands so I can read it, because it just sounds like it's the book that I want. It's just something that I want in my hands, okay? Like, hearing her talk about it is just such a wonderful thing, and it's just so lovely, and she's lovely, and I'm just here for it, okay? Like, she's just such a wonderful human being, and as I said, her content is also lovely, and she's on Twitter from time to time, and I think she has an Instagram, and she has Goodreads, and you just go follow her on all of the things, because she's just such a lovely human, and I don't think I can properly express my love of her, because she's such a gem. She's so supportive. She's so active in the community, and she's very welcoming as well. And she's just such a lovely person. She never fails to make me smile when she comments on one of my videos or pops into my inbox on Twitter or sends me an email or something. And I just love her. And all of these guys, like, every single person I mentioned today is someone I would definitely recommend going to check out, whether they're a small booktuber or a somewhat larger booktuber. They're all such incredible people and have such great content, so many interesting things to say. I just highly, highly recommend going to check them all out if you haven't. And know that this is by no means an exhaustive list of the people that I could talk about, but I figured that for my first one, this is the long enough list. So yeah, that's about all I've got. If you want to talk to me about anything in the comments, feel free to do so. Otherwise, feel free to hop on over to Goodreads and Twitter and talk to me over there. But other than that, I'll catch you with another video for you guys again soon. Okay, bye.